I've never gotten on here and told you guys why emotional intelligence development is so important to me. And I wanted to take a couple minutes to do so. Not only does it have very personal implications and ramifications in my life, because when I learned and practiced and developed the skill of emotional intelligence, which is ongoing, by the way, but when I really started to focus on it was in my early 20s. And up until that time in my life, I'd not had experience or anyone in my life really model it for me in a healthy way. Not because they're bad people, it's just because you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know unless you're taught or really seek it out. So it changed my life for the better in knowing how to navigate and manage certain emotions as they came up in my day-to-day life, in relationships, with school, with tasks, how to deal with overwhelm, things like that. And that really made a difference. Oh, and here's my little buddy. He might pop in from time to time. But another reason that just reinforces that, in addition to my personal experiences and the reasons and benefits I've experienced in my life, is that each day as I work as a marriage and family therapist, I actually have kind of a subspecialty in complex trauma recovery and treatment. So trying to help people manage those symptoms and in some cases heal from it, in other cases just learn how to manage and cope with it really, really effectively. So one thing I've noticed in my not only being trained in the areas of trauma treatment providing, but also in just seeing and interacting with my clients day in and day out, seeing what they present and how they interact and what their life circumstances were that led to the development of these trauma symptoms. Now, the number one, I can't say it's number one. There are two main things that I've come to find out in my studies and practice that contribute to trauma. One is the age at which it happens. Children are a little more susceptible to it just because the state of their brain development can't comprehend a whole lot other than just their little world. And that's not a flaw or fault in them. That's just part of human development. The second, well, that's just kind of a passive one. The main two are the pre-existing belief system. Some people call them stuck points. Some people call them your programming. Some people call them beliefs. Some people call them, there's another one. It starts with an S, schemas, right? It's kind of those beliefs that we operate off of on a day-to-day basis that are, either deeply rooted or deeply ingrained. And some of them can be adaptive and helpful, and others can be maladaptive and cause more stumbling blocks and hardship in life. So let's say hypothetically that somebody believes that the world is a safe place, but then they get mugged in an alleyway. The contrast in that belief set being challenged by an event in reality, it has the potential to develop trauma symptoms, such as hypervigilance, fear of, things that are just going to pop out from around the corner, or easily startled, or nightmares, or changes in mood, or feeling detached from people and having hard time feeling loving feelings for others, and changes in perception of self, things like that. For the actual symptoms of PTSD, go to the MayoClinic.com, and they have really good descriptions of mental illnesses, so you can look at the specific symptoms there. I'm not going to go into that right now, but so the contrast in the pre-existing belief when it's challenged by an event in reality. Okay, that's one thing. The bigger the contrast, the bigger the potential for trauma symptoms to develop. Now, the second one, and this is really why I have such a passion for and emphasize emotional intelligence development is because the second one that is a key indicator whether trauma symptoms develop or not after a highly stressful event is whether or not that person, often a child, not always, but often a child, the support they get on an emotional level to help make sense of what just happened, to help them understand why their body is responding the way it is, why their head feels the way it does, why their heart feels the way it does, why their stomach feels the way it does, and putting names to those emotions and normalizing it for that kid. Oh, when you were afraid, you felt that in your stomach. Yeah. Or you froze. That's really common. That can happen to us sometimes, right? Having that conversation with a child to normalize their experience as a human being responding to a highly stressful event. Oh my gosh. That right there can help mitigate and minimize the likelihood of trauma symptoms developing. I mean, it's so simple in concept and yet so powerful in application. It and can be life changing. If there is someone who can help us make sense of our lived experience, then we're far less likely to think to ourselves, especially magical thinking that children experience from time to time. We're far less likely to think, oh, something's wrong with me. I shouldn't feel this way. Something, it's all my fault. Those are things that happen. Those belief sets get programmed when we don't have someone to help us make sense of our experience in a very realistic, normalized, understandable, validating, and compassionate way. Let's see if I can think of an example. Let's say a kid's getting bullied at school. He comes home, maybe he's in 5th grade, we'll say. 5th grade little kid getting bullied at school. And he comes home and mom or dad asks him how his day went. And he tells them, first of all, there has to be a pre-existing level of trust there, that the parent-child relationship has developed some openness to where he feels comfortable confiding in them, and not worried about getting in trouble or being blamed or being shamed, things like that. So let's say that already exists. And the kid says, well, Jimmy was picking on me again at school and he pushed me down the slide, right? Whatever. Well, that parent can say, oh no, that's not okay. That probably hurts and causes you to feel a little bit scared to be acted upon like that. And then they keep listening, right? They maybe just comment a thing or two without interpreting, but helping the little boy understand what his experience was likely, and how his body likely responded. And then as the kid keeps talking, I tried to tell Jimmy to stop it, but he wouldn't. And, well, good. Wow. It sounds like you did try to use your voice to stand up for yourself. Wow. I bet that felt good, but also pretty frustrating when he still didn't listen, right? When Jimmy still kept bothering you. Then what did you do? Well, then I just tried to keep some distance from me and Jimmy, or I went and told a teacher or whatever. And the parent responds attentively, right? Eye contact, put the phone down, things like that. And just take, literally, it's not probably going to not be any more than 5 minutes of a conversation, but that's a very important conversation to have and a very important conversation to be attentive to. So, when Jimmy pushed me, I did this and that and the other, and the parent says, it's really not your fault that someone else is being mean to you. As long as you didn't punch Jimmy first or push Jimmy first or whatever, it's not your fault. And it's okay to keep your distance from people that are, not going to be, might be a little harmful to you or make fun of you or make you feel, negative emotions about yourself or them. And I'm here to help. And, thanks for letting me know. If it happens again, feel free to talk to me about it.